you know, and got our kids taken away. I was 29, and Charles Isham, Ojibwe Native American from the Saginaw Chippewa Indian tribe, Mount Pleasant, Michigan. A lot started out with like growing up in a household where, you know, everybody's always drinking. A lot of my family drink. I being bullied too growing up as a child too. That sucked. And then when I got older, I started drinking because I thought drinking was the thing to do. So I was just getting drunk like all the, you know, it wasn't really super bad, but like every weekend when I was younger,
Yeah, like how old?
like since I was like 14, 13, 14,
Okay.
maybe 15, somewhere in there. Um, I'd always get 20 bucks for doing my chores and then call up all my friends and we'd go get a bottle and go hang out, walk around, whatever. You know, just get drunk every Friday. School was tough for me. I I didn't graduate. I'm like 40 years old, and it just sucks because I ruined a lot of chances and opportunities that I could have had.
How many kids do you got?
Five.
Five.
So I've been a father since I was 15 years old. You know, I was scared. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, so I got drunk like the whole time. You know, um, that their mother was pregnant with my first child. Um, but when she was born, I went to the hospital and I held her, and I just held her, and something just changed in me, man. It just boom. I started tearing up a little bit. I talked to the mother and the other grandmother too at the time, and I talked to them for a minute, and I just left. And I ended up walking all the way home, which is probably about a good 5 mile walk. And gave me time to think. I went home, got some good sleep. Um, Next day, I was right back up at the hospital. You know, on that walk, man, I was like, I want to be this baby's father. I want to be there, and I just, no matter how much stuff, like, even my dad went through, and my mother, I didn't want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Because neither one of them ran away from either one of us. So, um, that really changed my life big time, Um, I didn't, I didn't want to be with the mother, that it just kind of happened, because she's always just there with the baby. So that's how it happened. And next thing you know, we got five, four other children. But yeah, the mother was into drug use too. Um, so when I turned 29, we fought back and forth tooth and nail because I didn't want to be with her no more because I wanted to stop. She didn't. She sat there and would tell me, like, oh, you'll go back to drinking. Nah, this time I'm done. It's done. So I couldn't do it no more. So back and forth with the children, man, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And, um, finally one of my teachers actually told me, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Everything will turn out all right. For 3 years, man, I was lonely. I was, sad and heartbroken. But uh, the kids lived with their mom, lived with their mother, that time. And I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. Just one day, boom, I get a call from one of my daughters trying to yell at me, saying I spent all their money, which I was like, I don't get you guys' money. Your mother does, you know. And she was only 10, 10 at the time, maybe 9, I think. God, how long's it been? Jeez. Anyways, yeah. So she was a little tiny girl, man, just young, 9, 8 or 9, somewhere in there, I think. And, her mother had told her that I spent their money. I was like, I don't get you guys' money. This is when I first started bike riding again. I bought a CBR 1000. I had to get a loan for it though. You know what I mean? So their mom told them I got their money and spent their money on it. And I was like, no, 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 I don't get you guys' money. I was like, I had to get a loan for this. I was like, you guys don't live with me. You guys live with your mom. So I need something to do, other than just working out and sitting around, in my head. So um, she all mad, pissed off at me. So I calmed her down. I'm like, look, I was like, go do this. Go do this for me real quick. And she comes back, or she calls me back, and she's like, she starts swearing, she starts swearing about her mom, calling her names. And I'm just like, hey, 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 hey. I was like, calm down. I was like, don't talk about your mom like that. I was like, just I was like, do you need anything? I was like, I'm at home. I was like, go take you get some food or whatever, you know? She's like, no. She's like, I'll just talk to you later. So she hung up. And not like an hour later, I hear I'm cooking food, at home. So it's about an hour later, she's, I heard her knocking on my door. I'm like, who the hell's here? So I'm out, looking out the window and stuff. And I go answer the door, and it's my daughter. And she had her bag, she had her suitcase with her. She was just like, can I live with you? It was like one of the like happiest days of my life, man. I said, yeah, I was like, come on in, man. I was like, you know where your room's at. Go put your stuff in there. She was with me ever since, man. And then it was just like dominoes, like one right after another, man. Like my son was living with the mom, my 2 sons. Um, my oldest daughter was, kind of doing her own thing. She was in her teens, so she was probably like 16, 17 at the time. I always talked to her a lot. She was always going to walk and come over too. But yeah, my son started seeing stuff going on. So he's like, Dad, I'm gonna come with you too. So I'm like, all right. So I was like, well, just call me and let me know when you need me picked up. So I get there, and well, I'm on my way there actually, and my baby mama calls me, and she's just yelling at me, and I'm like, what? I was like, what? I was like, she's like, well, I know he's coming to live with you, but I don't know what this other kid's doing. He was only like 2 or 3 years old. You can hear him in the background. I'm going to live with my dad. So, man, I pulled up there. My oldest son's coming out with all his clothes and stuff, and then here comes my 3-year-old pulling a bag full of clothes and toys. Big old garbage bag, man. And she's just yelling. She's all mad, and uh, I had my kids ever since then. Now they're all grown up. They're all graduated. Kind of prepared, and I was not prepared at the same time because they needed beds and all this stuff, and um, that's when it started getting to me where I'm like, oh man, I gotta wake them up. I gotta wake them up for school and every day, and which was, I mean, it wasn't a big deal because I think I was working at the time. Um, I actually had to switch jobs too because I was working on third shift, and I couldn't do it no more anyway. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna take a little time off. Get these kids situated. I got them all beds, got them TVs, whatever they needed. Um, yeah, it definitely helped me get on a different type of schedule. So I've been working ever since then too. So I try to do good, and then, but it was also hard knowing that like my significant other at the time she was using two,
Mm.
and then that lasted for about 11 years of us using together. It came to a point where she was always gone, and got her kids taken away. I was 29, and my house I had a big house, everything was gone, everything was empty, the whole thing was empty, man, and just like nothing, didn't have nothing, just a house, just an empty shell,
Yeah, yeah.
And then it just hit me like boom. I sat outside crying and thinking, and that was when I told myself, I was like, look, I need to stop because it was getting nowhere fast. So I believe that was my rock bottom that time because what hurt me the most was like I bought this house for my children and us, and they were gone. They took it away from us. So that's what hurt me the most.
Let's talk a little bit about motorcycles. You like motorcycles, right? Stunt riding. You're a stunt
Yes.
rider.
Yes.
Are you part of like any group or anything?
I have met a lot of people, you know, in the stunt scene.
Okay.
Um, a lot of these a lot of these guys do it for themselves, too,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is cool. They do have a lot of big groups like in cities, but I'm not from the city, so I'm here, just in my pleasant. I by myself. There's guys that ride around here, but I don't know. Like I met them before, but like I don't know. They don't really talk to me that much either. So either way, I'm fine with it. I've always been a loner, so
Everyone kind of just does their
yeah,
own thing, kind of.
yeah. But like when I go to other cities and stuff like that too, the guys that stunt ride, they know me. So it's like I can go, yo, hey, what's up? What are you doing? You know, and they're like, oh, hey, what's up, man? You know, so that's what's cool. So I can go to any city here in Michigan, go to Grand Rapids, Detroit, you know. Lansing's not so big on the stunt scene, I don't think, because when there's like really no rides or anything down there. But just a lot of these guys are cool. They took me in, you know. It wasn't like that when I first started out, though. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, it was cool to like earn their respect and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because that was like a big pivotal moment for me, you know, here. So
yeah.
Knowing that I'm progressing and they see it too. So
when did you start riding? I mean, when did you?
I rode like ATVs and stuff when I was younger, dirt bikes. I BMX'd, you know, a lot when I was a teenager. You know, I love BMXing. Let's see. I bought my first bike when I was 22. Was a '05 Gixxer 750, and that was pretty much like the love of my life right there, you know. So, and I rode that thing. I rode it for a while, but I didn't ride as much as, you know, because I was drinking and drugging at the same time. So I just left it in the garage a lot. You know, I'd only take off on it when I was mad or pissed off, you know. So, but every time I went for a ride, came back, I always had a smile on my face, man. You know, it just made me feel a lot better, just about everything.
Been any like bad accidents?
Yes, I was, man, I can't remember. I think I was like 23, maybe 24. I took a little ride, just getting ready to go to the gym. Went for a little ride, first on my bike, and then I was coming up to a stop really fast and didn't realize there was like some sand covering the ground. Tapped the front brake and spilled it. Probably about 50, 40 miles an hour. I got a permanent bump on my head right here now. So that was just regular like street riding though. So now that, you know, I started stunt riding, you know, I got sober when I was 29, and then just riding alone and working out wasn't cutting it for me. So I just like, man, I need something a little more extreme now, you know? So I got my first stunt bike when I was 35, 34, somewhere in there. It's been about 5-6 years now. So yeah, the first year, man, oh God, that was rough because I crashed so many times, but I wasn't going fast, you know. There was like little road rash here and there, which wasn't bad, and then, you know, my wheelies started progressing better, getting better and better and better. So here I am starting to, you know, go faster. You know, like when go on these rides, you're going fast sometimes, you know, when you gotta get on the highway and stuff. So I get a crash in Chicago, 4-lane highway, going for a scrape, and the bike just hooked, and it's called a mousetrap, so it just flips right over the handlebars, man. And I was the top of second gear, and I hit the pavement, just started rolling. I was in the inner lane, rolled all the way to the outer lane. I get up, I'm like, what's, you know, like hundreds of bikes behind me. Hundreds. All I hear is bike tires locking up, you know, and I'm just tucking and rolling. Please don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me. And I can hear bike tires. I just open up my eyes and I see one guy just missed me. And that's why I just, you know, kept tucking in and rolling. That's all I could do, and praying to God, you know. So I get up, my bike's, I'm like, you know, looking around. My buddy's like sitting right here on his bike. He's like, damn, bro, you all right? I'm like, yeah, where's my bike?
Where's my bike? Yeah.
So, you know, adrenaline's off, you know, just pumped. So, yeah, I got a big circle on my butt cheek over here, and on my sides, scars over here. Got a lot of scars from that, just from that alone. My shins are all freaking busted up. My knees too, like I
Sounds
mean,
like you've been in a few accidents.
yeah,
You know what it feels
yeah,
like to
but
wipe out, and you're still doing it. So
yeah,
you must love it.
oh yeah, I'll never give it up. You know, I'll do this as long as till I probably can't even walk anymore. You know, so
Yeah, I feel that.
yeah,
Lots of kids.
29 was my rock bottom,
Okay.
and I have, you know, I have people that I know that I'd reach out to, and ask them that have been sober, you know, and they would give me some little bit of guidance and, you know, tell me some things I needed to hear. And the hardest challenge of that was the first 3 months was the hardest. Um, I would find myself, you know, at the liquor store. And I go, you know, what the hell am I doing here? You know, like,
Yeah.
but I would go in, and you know, what's weird is that they would always have their hand on my bottle. Every time I'd come in there, you know, they're like, "Oh, I don't drink no more." Really? I'm like, yeah, I'm done. So, but I'd grab like a Gatorade or maybe some lottery tickets or something, you know. So, you know, that 3 months with just that alone too, man, was like, the challenges of dealing with life again.
Yeah, like
So,
relearning how to live. You gotta
yeah,
find new things to do.
yeah,
With your free time now.
yes,
All that time you spent drinking.
yeah. So you like,
What do I do?
I feel like it's like a dam being built, you know. All your problems, you're just building it up. And once it breaks, you know, it's like there's a town over here, you know, that town's all your family and all them too, you know, you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting them. You know, when that dam breaks, you can't hold all that in no more, you know. Which is it's rough. You know. I was alone. I was alone. Um I'd see my kids every once in a while. I'd try to reach out as much as I could to see them. I went to court for them several times. Um, and I was always fighting tooth and nail. You know, I had a lot of anger built up. You know, and like I was just angry all the time. You know, from what I know is that you know alcoholism and drugs is not part of our culture. Period. You know, that wasn't something we had. You know, from our ancestors. Um, so this is just something that our generation was bred into, you know, even our, you know, our great grandmas and, you know, even great grandfathers, you know, like that was part of their generation, which, you know, was passed down to us. So, it's hard, you know, for me to see people like that nowadays. You know, I don't like to see my people like this or that, you know, and, but from what I learned from my, you know, from me getting sober was that it's a choice, man. Like the bottle doesn't come to you, you go to it, you know.
Yeah.
So,
You know, as Native American people, we've gone through some things. Our ancestors have gone through some things, some traumatic events
yes,
that have
real traumatic. Yes.
in turn made our parents maybe not love us properly.
Yep.
So
yes. That's a really good way to explain it too. I know like some of the boarding school stuff is that's really traumatic for the survivors that have survived boarding schools too. You know, them is our grandmas and grandpas too. You know, so and like we don't know our own language. But I mean, I know some words here and there. Even my grandma didn't really speak it. You know, like she knew some words here and there too. But you know, so But yeah, I don't know. Like the way I feel about like drug use and all that stuff too is kind of like I don't know, man. I gotta say, man, alcohol's probably the worst, but like heroin and stuff is probably the deadliest. You
Mm.
know, so
That's-
or because they're lacing stuff with fentanyl and stuff nowadays too, and it's just man, that stuff's. Ugh. But they say marijuana is a gateway drug. I don't smoke marijuana either, but
mm.
um, I think it's alcohol
Mm.
because I know back when I used to smoke weed, like I never wanted to do. Shit. I never wanted to be violent. Never wanted to be nothing. All I wanted to do is order some pizza. you know, so.
Feel that.
But yeah, but when you're drunk, man, you change into somebody totally different, like you're possessed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's you turn into something totally different, and then because when I was drunk, I was like, yo, let me call the dope man
Mm.
because you get that I don't give a attitude, you know what I mean? Like yeah, everything,
You start doing things. You
yeah,
don't really want to do.
yeah, exactly. Yep. Plays a lot because I don't know. I guess it gives my body that natural reaction that you should have
Mm.
instead of snorting it or drinking it or injecting it.
Mm.
um it makes me feel good, and there was times like I would just feel just great, and
Gotta
didn't need
work
it,
out.
then didn't use a drug or a drink for it,
Mm.
so. And plus, like when I look in the mirror in the morning or whatever, that that just helps your confidence and stuff too. I feel like so. With the bike riding, that's always like how it helps with my stress, and my loneliness and my anxiety. Um,
Kind of just keeps you level headed. The bike,
yeah, really,
the
it
bike's kind of something that
relieves a
helps you.
lot of that too. So I'm trying to. But I also play basketball and stuff too, so that
Mm.
helps. That helps with like adrenaline and all that too, and just your overall physical health and stuff.
Mm.
I had, you know, people that helped me,
Mm.
um, spiritual teachers. Um, they help me, with guidance and things that I need to hear. Like I said, and I smudge, I pray. I
What's
also use,
smudging?
huh?
What's smudging?
Smudge. It's
Yeah.
burn some sage, and you say a prayer with it. You bathe yourself with it, so it helps take away all the negative energy that's plaguing you. Um, it helps clean your mind a little bit. And there's also the sweat lodges we use. Um, as few people that have the rights to do that, but we go in there. That also drives up your body temperature, and then you sweat. So then when you do that too, it cleanses your spirit and your body. You know, like even crying does that. When you cry too, cleanses your spirits. So if you made a stupid choice in the past and you're still dwelling on it, or letting it eat you up, it's the past. Be somebody different that you are today, not back then. You're not that. If you don't be that same person you were then, be somebody who you are now. I guess. Only thing you can do is if you did have something traumatic happen to you, the only thing I can say is try your best to let it go, or it's just gonna keep eating. I have had a lot of stuff, good and bad done, so um, still think about them every once in a while, and I'm not proud of anything, but But I'm still trying not to let it affect me on who I am today, because that's not who I am anymore. Like I said, alcohol, man, your drugs, you turned into somebody that you're not. So, yeah, hardest part is just trying to move on, stop dwelling on the past, start trying to work through your problems instead of, you know, putting them off, because as long as they're gonna still be there, right, regardless if you drink them up or um, use them up. You know, so they're still gonna be there. I really don't set goals. I just kind of go moment to moment, because, like, when you see, that's one thing I learned too. When you set a goal and you don't reach it, and that's kind of like a setback too. So the main thing is I'm just kind of looking forward to is just still being sober, you know, not using.
That's a goal right there.
Yeah.
You could say that you're going, just every day, just trying not to use.
Just trying not, yeah.
Just
Exactly.
trying to keep on this same path.
Yep. Keep on that red road, man. Still gonna continue to bike. Still a lot more tricks I want to learn. Still gotta build this one yet. Been putting that one out to build my car, so when you're not spending your money on, stupid stuff, well, I don't know. Some people probably think this is stupid, but not me.
Hey man, we all got our.
Yeah.
We all got.
Could be worse. I
like
could be out there spending, hundreds of dollars at the bar, or hundreds of dollars, on drugs. I'm trying to
get spent somewhere.
Yeah, I'm just trying to spend it on something that is not illegal, I guess you'd say. But
Makes you feel good.
Yeah, it makes me feel great. Telling you right now, like, adrenaline is like better than any drug I've ever taken. So I just hope, that it reaches somebody that needs help. That's all I really want to kind of, that's why I agreed to do it anyways. Just want to give somebody that maybe needs to hear something like this, type of story, and it's not easy to be sober, because there's just so much life that comes at you. But if you stay sober, you get stronger. Here, it's definitely a hard road, but do it, and it's worth it. Just remember, there's people on this planet that love you. Your grandma, your mom, grandpa, your children. And, like I said, my children was one of the biggest parts of mine. So just remember, there's people there that love you.